Jimmy Butler taking his talents out of South Beach. We've got big breaking news on the NBA trade market that could shake things up in a major way. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. I've said it before, but only about 20% of you watching this video right now are subscribed to the channel. The other 80%, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. So this came out from Shams Charania. Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat listening to offers and ready to make a deal. Butler and Brandon Ingram, according to Shams, are two of the big names out there on the market. Of course, Brandon Ingram dealing with a significant ankle injury. We'll have to keep an eye on his market to see what happens there. But according to Shams Charania, Butler has a $49 million contract for this season, $52 million player option for next season. But the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler did not come to terms on an extension. They just didn't see eye to eye, to the point where over the summer we had Jimmy Butler essentially putting out there that, oh, maybe I'd be interested in going to the Philadelphia 76ers when they had cap space to spend before the Paul George move. Or maybe I'll be interested in going to the Brooklyn Nets, who are going to have cap space this coming summer, basically using any team that had room as the boogeyman to scare the Miami Heat into giving him an extension. Miami said no. Pat Riley even had some comments about how Jimmy's lack of availability has been a big issue. He's putting up great numbers again this season. He's doing Jimmy Butler things, but the fact of the matter is he's 35 years old. He's putting up 19, 5, and 5. That's great. Getting to the free throw line a ton. That's great. 7.5 free throws per game. He can still get it done, but you look at his games played over the years, 58, 52, 57, 64, 60, 17 so far this season. The availability is an issue, and Miami doesn't want to be the team to give him his next big contract. So that's going to naturally lead you down this path towards Jimmy Butler getting traded out of Miami, similar to the way the Pelicans right now don't want to be the team to give Brandon Ingram a huge near max contract. That will probably ultimately lead us to Brandon Ingram being traded out of New Orleans. Again, the injury situation complicates things, but with Jimmy Butler, he's probably going to get moved. It would make a lot of sense unless suddenly he wants less money. He recognizes that the market tells him he's not that valuable and is willing to take less money on a deal. Otherwise, it looks like Miami is very much considering moving their star. So here's what Shams had to say. The Heat are open to listening to offers for Butler and making a deal if the proposal is right. So first of all, it's important that they're listening to offers, right? That they're not just shutting down trade talks, but they're open to making a deal. They're ready to make a trade. That's what that says. It's not just exploratory. It's not just we're listening. It's we're ready. If we get the right deal, we're moving. We're getting this done. So Butler's agent, Bernie Lee, has indicated in league circles that he's open to destinations such as the two Texas teams, the Rockets and the Mavericks. Jimmy is a Houston native, and the Golden State Warriors. So he wants teams that he believes can contend for a title. Now, I want to talk about his ability to influence the market here, because Jimmy Butler can very, very much pick his landing spot to a degree with the way that his contract is set up right now. But I do want to mention the Golden State Warriors. Shams talked about him a little bit farther down in the article, and I'll talk about it a bit more in a video later today. But the Warriors, they are known, and I've talked about this a few times already over the last couple of weeks. The Warriors, they are known to be out there looking for a star. They're trying to find a star to put with Steph Curry, to put with Draymond Green. They've had a really good start to the season. There have been some ebbs and flows, but they are a really interesting landing spot, because in order to find a new home for Jimmy Butler, you've got to find a team that is ready to win right now, because those are the teams that are going to value Jimmy. A team that's on a rebuild, a team like, I don't know, the Washington Wizards, the Utah Jazz, they're not going to value Jimmy Butler at 35 years old, because by the time they're good and ready to win, Jimmy's gone. Jimmy is long gone by the time they're ready to win. You need a team that's ready to win right now, and that is certainly the Warriors. And given Jimmy's history of playoff success, that's got to hold some appeal to Golden State. Could they do something around Andrew Wiggins' contract? Maybe you do something around, is Jonathan Kuminga put into the deal? He's the guy that they're featuring right now. The Warriors are an interesting landing spot. The Mavs, how can you get something done with them? They'd have to stack up a few salaries. The Houston Rockets have been telling everybody who will listen, no. We don't want to trade any of our young pieces. We like what we're building here. We're in really good shape. And they're absolutely right. They're playing well in the NBA's Western Conference right now, currently sitting as the 3 seed in the West. So Houston can credibly make the argument that they don't want to make a move. And same thing with Dallas. They're the 4 seed right now. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're not going to listen and not ultimately going to be interested. So the way a lot of the trade market works can be leverage related. So, for example, when you've got the Houston Rockets saying, "No, we don't need to make a trade. We don't need to go get Jimmy Butler. We're happy with where we're at." They kind of need to put that out there right now. They can't say, "Oh yeah, we're eager to get a star." Number one, that's going to upset a lot of the guys in their locker room that have been working hard to get them to be the 3 seed right now in the West. But it's also going to limit their leverage in trade talks because teams are going to say, "Oh, you guys really want to make a trade? That means you should be willing to give up extra assets," as opposed to Houston going, "Well, all right, I guess we'll listen, but we're not really we're really happy with where we're at now." It allows them to drive a bit more of a hard bargain. But I also don't think it's wrong. I think Houston really does like the team that they've got. If they're ready to make a playoff push this year and maybe a title push this year, I don't know that they're quite there yet. I think that's one step too far for them right now. But Jimmy Butler would certainly be a guy to target if they think that they can get over the hump this year and make a deep playoff run. And again, they're the 3 seed in the West right now, so you can't completely write it off. We know the Mavs, the conference finals last year, as well as the NBA finals, came up short in the finals against the Celtics. That's another team that could be ready to win right now. All right, but Jimmy Butler, where he wants to go is going to matter a ton. So Butler's contract, as Shams mentioned, $49 million this season, $52 million next season, but he is going to decline that, according to Shams Charania, and hit the market and be a free agent. So that decision is not in yet. Jimmy could still decide this spring, you know what, never mind, I'm actually going to pick up my player option. But similar to Houston telling everybody who will listen that they don't want to go trade for a big star, they're happy with the young core they've got right now, Jimmy putting out there that, yeah, I'm probably not going to pick up that player option, that, and while it may be factually correct, strategically, that's also really, really important to keeping his ability to control his landing spot. Because if he makes sure that everybody knows, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not picking up that player option," that allows him to pick his landing spot. If he wants to go, let's say he says, "I will only go to Golden State, Houston, or Dallas. That's it. I don't want to go anywhere else." All Jimmy has to do, let's say the Orlando Magic call up. And Jimmy Butler says, "What? I hate Disney World. I don't want to go there. No, I don't want to be an Orlando Magic." All he has to do is say, "Hey, Orlando, you guys can trade for me, but I won't stay. I'm going to leave in free agency this summer." And at that point, whatever Orlando, in this hypothetical scenario, was willing to give up for Jimmy evaporates, because no team's going to give up anything significant for half a season of Jimmy Butler. The only way they're going to give up significant assets that the Miami Heat would want are if they think that Jimmy Butler is going to stay long-term, that he is a piece that they're going to get for at least a few years. That's the only way teams are going to be willing to give up significant assets for Jimmy. And what would the Miami Heat want? Well, certainly they're going to be looking for plug-and-play guys. They're going to be looking for guys that could play alongside Bam Adebayo. Tyler Hero's having a great season. I don't think they're going to try to completely tear down here. Could they get future picks, something like that? Sure. But I think they're going to focus on trying to add young talent. But again, no team's going to be willing to give up significant assets without some guarantee that Jimmy does want to be there and is willing to stay. So because of his contract situation, Jimmy can very much depress his own market. He could also say, "You know what? There's 15 teams I'd play for." And he opens up a big market, and the Miami Heat love this because then you get a bidding war between all of those teams that might be interested in Jimmy. And make no mistake, at 35 years old, not every team's going to be interested in Jimmy Butler, but a lot will. He's that talented of a player. But Jimmy can also narrow his own market and therefore take away a lot of the ability of the Miami Heat to kind of play teams off of each other by saying, "Oh, yeah, I've got a list, and it's only 3 teams, and it's only 4 teams, 5 teams, whatever, 2 teams," he could say. Whatever he wants to say, and then just promise that he will not re-sign with any other team that's not on his list. And that can significantly depress the market and allow Jimmy to influence where he lands, as well as perhaps take away some of the leverage from the Miami Heat in these trade negotiations. But big news here. We've got a lot more coming out today because there's much more going on the NBA trade market. But Jimmy Butler, huge name, now out there officially on the market. And not only are the Miami Heat, look, we've been speculating for a while that it would make sense for the Miami Heat to be listening on Jimmy Butler trade offers. Now we know not only are they listening, but they are ready to make a move right now if the right deal comes along. So, red alert, we'll see. This could definitely heat up the NBA's trade season. Everybody, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Where should Jimmy Butler go? And make sure you check out our latest video on the Lakers, LeBron James, and him potentially hitting the trade market as well.